Good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here is a Group Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting and also a venture capitalist. Today, we are going to be covering a topic that why CDS structures are relevant for the corporate treasuries. Now, CDS stands for Credit Default Swap. All those people who are not sure about it, CDS was originally invented as a structure whereby you can prevent the cash flow of your organization. So example, you are having any AR, the bill you have any bond, commercial paper, certificate of deposit or anything, MTNs, medium term notes, LTNs, long term notes, and you think that the issuer, because you are of course an investor, issuer can default on that. Now, for which the CDS was originally innovated. Nobody in this world was aware of the fact that CDS turned very relevant when the world saw that 2008 financial crisis was one of the reasons behind 2008 financial crisis was CDS as well, which is credit default swap. Now, apparently speaking, not many people agree to it, but I definitely agree to it that there is. Now, apparently speaking, CDS are getting relevant for corporates also, but unfortunately, you know that I am from a corporate treasury. I spent 10 years as a treasurer. Now I am managing the treasury of my own organization. We know that corporate treasuries are also ignoring the impact of CDS. I hardly know any corporate treasury, including the top corporate treasuries of India, without quoting the name in the public domain, those who have CDS as a BAU. BAU stands for business as usual, which is the normal day-to-day life which you are doing. Corporate treasuries have reached to that level of pessimist attitude whereby they have forgotten one thing, that there is something with CDS which is required. So let's take an example. 1 month ago, there was a company which is 1 month, 2 months ago, there was a company which is PG&E. It's a US California based electricity company. They defaulted. The amount was $1 billion. Now the case is under the law. God knows what would happen. I don't know how whether the case would end up in the favor of investor or in the favor of the issuer. I don't know. But this $1 billion of loss is not an easy loss. To be honest, apparently speaking, it looks like very easy, but this is not an easy loss. If you look at Singapore, every second day in the newspaper, people are talking about high flicks. People are talking about high flicks. Now, let me show you something about that. Now, in the today's newspaper, which we are having, you can see that people are crying on the road. Now see that. Sorry for the little delay. There is a today's newspaper. You can see that no government bailout for the high flux and to spring. You can see that SGX, MAS, CAD, please investigate any mis-selling by high flux, oblique DBS for the toxic 6% preference and so on and so forth. Now every second day Singapore is talking about high flux. Now that high flux is basically it's into the water-based business without telling the name. And we are here referring to the newspaper which is one of the leading newspapers of Singapore, which is the State Times. It is much better than any other newspaper which we have. This is what we are talking it about. Now the question is that once we talk about that kind of incidents, I'm damn sure that there are many corporates in the globe, the so-called venture capitalists, including me, the so-called venture capitalists, those who are going with the definition of unicorn and all, they must have lost a substantial amount of money. But as a corporate treasury, you have no right. As a corporate treasury, you have no right. As a corporate treasury, you have no right to say that, boss, I lost the money, because I think one of the KRAs for the corporate treasury is to protect the corporate, and for that they need something which is known as CDS, which is credit default swap. I think it's the right time for the corporates to understand what CDS is all about and make them into the BAU, else they would continue to lose the money. Now, to cut the long discussion short, to cut the long discussion short, we have multiple kind of CDS structures. Now, one kind of CDS structures which we have is a single name CDS. We have multi-name CDS. We have single trigger CDS. We have multi-trigger CDS. We have first till default CDS. We have second till default CDS. We also need to appreciate that these all structures are relevant for different purpose. But now, considering that most of the economies of the globe have defaulted and they have reached to a level of the default, and most of the companies across the globe have defaulted, like take an example of India. In India, in the last 2-3 months, we have more than 20-30 top groups come in the newspaper for negative reason. ILFS, JP Group, Jet Airways, we just name them. I don't want to name in the public domain. You can open Google and check what exactly is happening. And the public sector banks are coming and bail out. But is that mean that the case has been resolved? No, the case has not been resolved. The case is still in there. Question is, are the corporate treasuries covering themselves using the CDS structures? No, but they can. Now the recent RBI circular has mandated that the centralized treasury at Singapore can help them to cover their position. Now the question is very clear. If you are working in a corporate treasury, you do not know how exactly CDS work. You do not know the major structure of a CDS, and last but not the least, you do not know how to price the CDS in your pricing. You are at mistake. Else, one day, another day, third day, your name will also be a part of Straits Times or maybe some other newspaper of the different country, and you would continue to be in the court. As a financial consultancy, a multinational financial consultancy company, we hereby would like to tell you that it is very important for you that to understand how exactly it works and to include in your including your BAU, which is business as usual. With this, Treasury Consulting would thank you very much. You know my mobile number 919899242978. You know my email ID rahul.magan@treasuryconsulting.in. You know our fixed income platform www.treasuryconsulting.in. Thank you and have a wonderful time ahead.